Hello, all. Welcome to the class of Complex Analysis, Probability and Statistical Methods, 18 MAT 41. Today I'll be teaching a topic in Module 1, Calculus of Complex Functions. And the topic name that we'll be discussing is Problems or Different Categories under the Type 1 to find the derivative of an analytic function. Myself, Dr. Madhura, working as an assistant professor, Department of Mathematics, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. We'll see the working rule to find the derivative of an analytic function. Given w is equal to f of z, substitute the Cartesian representation x plus iy, z is equal to x plus iy, or the polar representation z is equal to r e power I theta, relevantly, whichever is appropriately applicable, to find the real and imaginary parts u and v. Either we'll take the Cartesian substitution or the polar substitution to find out the real and imaginary parts u and v. We also substitute w as u plus iv. Verify the CR equations in the Cartesian form or in the polar form to conclude that f of z is analytic. So before we find the derivative of an analytic function, first we have to prove that the given function is analytic. So to prove f of z is analytic, we verify the CR equations. If we have taken the Cartesian representation, we verify CR equations in the Cartesian form. Ux is equal to Vy or Vx is equal to minus Uy. If we have taken the polar representation of z, which is r into e power I theta, then we verify CR equations in the polar form given by r ur is equal to v theta and r vr is equal to minus u theta. To conclude, f of z is analytic. Then in the step 3, we see that to find f dash of z, which is equal to ux plus I into vx, or we use the expression f dash of z is equal to e power minus I theta into ur plus I into vr. So either in the Cartesian form, the expression will be ux plus I into vx, or in the polar form, it is e power minus I theta into ur plus I into vr. We substitute the partial derivatives and use Milne-Thomson substitution, which is given by x is equal to z, y is equal to 0 in the Cartesian form, or r is equal to z and theta is equal to 0 in the polar form. So once we have obtained the expression, we have written the expression for f dash of z in the Cartesian form if we are applying, then we substitute Milne-Thomson substitution, x is equal to z, y is equal to 0, or otherwise f dash of z, if we have applied polar representation, we take MTS, Milne-Thomson substitution, as r is equal to z and theta is equal to 0. So the working procedure will help us to see the problems. Now we will see problems. Problems on type 1 category. The heading is, show that the following functions are analytic and hence find their derivatives. Show that the following functions are analytic and hence find their derivatives. So first we need to prove that the following functions, given function is analytic, and then we have to find its derivative. So first question in that, w is equal to z plus e power z. W is equal to z plus e power z is a question. Now we have to first obtain the real and the imaginary values, that is u and v, and then we have to find out ux, uy, vx, vy, that is the partial derivatives with respect to u and v. Then we can verify the CR equations, Cauchy-Riemann equations. Now, very firstly, given the equation W is equal to Z plus e power Z, we will substitute W as U plus IV, and we substitute Z in the Cartesian form X plus IY plus e power X plus IY. We are taking the Cartesian representation of Z. Z is a complex number, so Z is equal to X plus IY in the Cartesian representation we are considering. Now, in order to separate the real and imaginary parts, let us first write down this X plus IY as it is. Now, we can split this power e power X into e power IY. So that e power IY now can be written as, this first term I am writing as it is, e power X into e power IY can be written as cos Y plus I into sin Y. E power I into Y can be written as cos Y plus I sin Y. Now we will multiply. Here e power X is multiplied for both the terms. So this can be written as X plus IY plus e power X cos Y plus I into e power X sin Y. So that now we can group the real and imaginary parts together, which gives us the real parts here are, here I'll just write down a bracket. Now the real terms are X plus e power X cos Y, and the imaginary term here is I into Y plus e power X sin Y. So we just have separated the real and imaginary parts. Here I've taken X plus e power X cos Y. So these are the real terms. IY, and here it is I into e power X sin Y, and there's a plus sign in the middle. So taking I outside, I can write it down Y plus e power X sin Y. Now we can separate the real and imaginary parts and write down separating the real and imaginary, we can write down for u and v. So here u will be equal to, we'll write down what are u and v from this. So u is equal to, this is the real part, X plus e power X cos Y is the real part, so which is u, and equating the imaginary part, v is equal to Y plus e power X sin Y. So u is equal to X plus e power X cos Y, X plus e power X cos Y, and v is equal to Y plus e power X sin Y, Y plus e power X sin Y. So that now we can find out the derivatives ux, vx, uy, vy, partial differentiation with respect to x and y. So let us find the derivatives. Ux is equal to, differentiation of x is 1 plus e power x differentiation is e power x itself, cos y is a constant. Similarly, uy is equal to, differentiation with respect to y, differentiation of x partially with respect to y is 0 plus e power x as it is, differentiation of cos y is minus sin y, which is giving us minus e power x into sin y. Now coming ahead to v is equal to y plus e power x sin y. Partial differentiation with respect to x is 0 plus differentiation of e power x is e power x itself into sin y. Then similarly vy, partial differentiation with respect to y gives us 1 plus e power x into differentiation of sin y is cos y. E power x as it is, differentiation of sin y is cos y. Now we observe the CR equations to satisfy. The CR equation says ux is equal to vy. We observe they are equal, and vx is equal to minus uy. This is positive e power x sin y, and this is negative e power x sin y. So vx is equal to minus uy. So we can conclude thus CR equations are satisfied. CR equations are satisfied. CR equations are satisfied. So this gives us that f of z, given f of z is f analytic. F of z is equal to, that is z plus e power z is analytic. So this was the first part of the problem. Now coming on to the second part of the problem, we need to prove that, or we need to find the derivative f dash of z. So to find f dash of z, derivative function. Now to find f dash of z, we have to consider the expression for f dash of z, which is obtained in the derivative function. In the derivation of CR equation, we have already seen that. So we need to consider the expression for f dash of z in the Cartesian representation. So we know that f dash of z is equal to ux plus I into vx. Now we will substitute for ux and vx. Ux is nothing but the partial differentiation with respect to x, and vx is nothing but the partial differentiation with respect to x. So we need to substitute these two values. Okay, we will just substitute that 1 plus e power x cos y and e power x sin y are the respective values. So this will be equal to ux is nothing but 1 plus e power x cos y, and I as it is, vx is nothing but e power x sin y. Now we will make use of the Milne-Thomson substitution. So by Milne-Thomson substitution, which I use the short form MTS, we substitute x is equal to z and y is equal to 0. Milne-Thomson substitution in the Cartesian form is x is equal to z and y is equal to 0. So substitute everywhere x is equal to z and y is equal to 0, so that we obtain f dash of z is equal to nothing but 1 plus e power z cos 0 plus I into e power z sin 0. We recall the standard values. Sin 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1. So since sin 0 is 0, the imaginary part vanishes. So we just have the real part of the answer, which is nothing but 1 plus e power z. So this gives us f dash of z is equal to 1 plus e power z. And is that the required answer for us? We know from the question that f of z is given by f of z, I'll just show z plus e power z. So differentiation dw by dz is nothing but 1 plus e power z. So differentiation of z with respect to z is 1 plus e power z differentiation is e power z itself. And that is what we have obtained the answer as 1 plus e power z. So this is how we prove the given function is analytic, and hence to find the derivative of it. Now we'll see second problem. W is equal to f of z, which is given as cos 2z. Cos 2z. Now a trigonometric function is given for us. Let us work it out in the same manner. By representing z in the Cartesian form, we can do this. So let us see the solution. W is nothing but, it is given W is equal to cos 2z. Now we represent W as u plus iv, and cos 2z can be written as cos 2 times of x plus iy. Now we will first shift 2 inside, multiply 2 inside. So cos of 2x plus I into 2y. So that now it is of the form cos of a plus b. We will recall the formula for cos of a plus b. So we know that cos of a plus b is equal to cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Cos of a plus b is equal to cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Recalling this formula and applying it for 2x plus I into 2y. So we will write down u plus iv once again. So therefore u plus iv now can be written as cos a cos b. So this gives us cos 2x into cos of I into 2y minus sin 2x into sin of I into 2y. So we have in place of b I2y or 2iy. So including that we have to write down. Okay. So this is equal to, in turn, this is equal to. Now we will again recall the expression for cos ix. Cos ix can be written as cos hyperbolic x, and similarly sin ix can be written as I into sin hyperbolic x. Just again a recall from the theory, we have learned it already. We'll just recall. So we know that cos ix is equal to cos hyperbolic x, cos hx. Similarly, sin ix is equal to I into sin hyperbolic x. But here in place of x we have, what do we have? We have I into 2y. Cos ix, in place of x we have 2y. So applying the same thing, we can write on u plus iv now. We can rewrite u plus iv. So therefore, u plus iv is now equal to cos 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y minus I into sin 2x as it is into sin hyperbolic 2y. Let me explain this. See, we have sin I 2y, no? So this is giving me I into sin hyperbolic 2y. So that I wrote it here, that's all, into sin hyperbolic 2y over here. Okay. And of course, this is a minus sign. Let us not get confused. This is a minus sign. Okay. Now, we have to next step, separate the real and imaginary parts. Correct? We have to write down what is u and what is v. Just equating the real and imaginary parts. So we will do that here. Equating real and imaginary parts. Equating real and imaginary parts, we can get, so u will be equal to cos 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y. U is equal to cos 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y, and what is v? V is equal to, let us see what is v. Cos 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y. V is along with the minus sign. So minus sin 2x into sin hyperbolic 2y minus sin 2x into sin hyperbolic 2y. Now once we know u and v, we can find out the partial derivatives ux, uy, vx, vy. So let us find out the partial derivatives ux, uy and vx, vy. So with respect to x, when I want to differentiate, differentiation of cos 2x is minus 2 into sin 2x, keeping cos hyperbolic 2y as it is. Similarly, with respect to y, when I want to differentiate cos 2x as it is, differentiation of cos hyperbolic 2y is 2 into sin hyperbolic 2y. 2 into sin hyperbolic 2y. Right. In the same manner, now we can obtain Vx and Vy. So let us find out Vx. Vx is differentiation of sine 2x, which is minus as it is. So differentiation of sine 2x is cos 2x, 2 into cos 2x, keeping sine hyperbolic 2y as it is. Similarly, Vy is equal to, with respect to y, when I differentiate minus sine 2x as it is, differentiation of sine hyperbolic 2y is 2 into cos hyperbolic 2y. 2 into cos hyperbolic 2y. Now we observe whether the CR equations are satisfied or not. We observe that the CR equations, that is ux is equal to vy and vx is equal to minus uy, are satisfied. Observe ux also has a minus sign and vx also has a minus sign. So minus 2 sine 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y, they are satisfied. And vx is equal to minus uy. There is minus sign here for vx, but there is no minus sign for uy. So the CR equations are satisfied. So therefore, let us mention that CR equations. So CR equations, that is ux is equal to vy and vx is equal to minus uy, are satisfied. Are satisfied. So therefore, f of z is analytic. Hence, we can conclude that given function f of z, which is nothing but cos 2z, is analytic. is analytic. Now what is our next aim? Our next aim is to find f dash of z. So now to find f dash of z, we need to consider the expression for f dash of z given by ux plus I into vx. In the Cartesian representation, while deriving the CR equations, we have used the expression for f dash of z. So we are familiar that f dash of z is equal to ux plus I into vx. So we will now substitute for both ux and vx. Just now we obtained the partial derivatives ux and vx. Both we will substitute and then use Milne-Thomson substitution. So ux is minus 2 sine 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y. So we have ux is nothing but 2 sine 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y plus I into vx. Let us just observe what is vx once. Vx is minus 2 cos 2x into minus 2 cos 2x into sine hyperbolic 2y. It is minus 2 cos 2x into sine hyperbolic 2y. Right. Now we need to use Milne-Thomson substitution. Let us first verify values once again, ux and vx. So ux is sine 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y. Sine 2x into cos hyperbolic 2y. It is having a negative sign. So I have to write down a negative sign here. And then we have vx. Vx is also negative, minus 2 cos 2x into sine hyperbolic 2y. Right. Now let us use Milne-Thomson substitution. Using or substitute MTS, Milne-Thomson substitution, x is equal to z and y is equal to 0. See, Milne-Thomson substitution helps us to write down the expression in terms of z. So we need to obtain the derivative f dash of z as a function of z, no? So that is the reason we use Milne-Thomson substitution. So minus 2 sine 2z into cos hyperbolic 0, y is 0, minus 2i into cos 2z multiplied by sine hyperbolic 0. Sine hyperbolic 0. So we recall the standard values. Sine hyperbolic 0 is 0 and cos hyperbolic 0 is 1. So again we will recall the standard values. Sine hyperbolic 0 is 0 and cos hyperbolic 0 is 1. Cos hyperbolic 0 is 1. So using those values, we have f dash of z is equal to f dash of z is minus 2 into sine 2z. Cos hyperbolic 0 is 1. So this remains to be minus 2 sine 2z. Since sine hyperbolic 0 is 0, the entire imaginary part vanishes. So this is the required derivative. Let us verify whether the derivative is correct by Milne-Thomson substitution, and through the methodology of analytic function. Is the answer correct? We will just verify from the given question. So the given question was f of z is cos 2z. So differentiation of cos 2z is minus 2 into sine 2z, and the same we have obtained as the answer, minus 2 into sine 2z. We'll see third problem now. W is equal to sine hyperbolic z. Sine hz or sine hyperbolic z. So we have considered a hyperbolic function now. Okay, so let us see the solution. So W, it is given that W is equal to f of z, which is given as sine hyperbolic z. Now let us substitute W as u plus iv, left hand side, and the right hand side sine hyperbolic of x plus iy. Now we cannot directly represent any formula like sine of a plus b or something, because it is a hyperbolic function. So first we need to convert the hyperbolic function to the trigonometric function. So let us recall the expression what we know in terms of the hyperbolic to trigonometric. So we know that sine of ix, sine of I into x is equal to I sine hyperbolic x, I into sine hyperbolic x. But I just want to know what is the expression for sine hyperbolic x, no? So this becomes 1 divided by I into sine of ix. We recall value of 1 by I. So 1 by I is nothing but minus I. 1 by I is equal to minus I into sine of ix. Sine of ix. So sine hyperbolic x expression can be written as minus I into sine of ix. The same we need to now express for sine hyperbolic of x plus iy term. Okay. So in place of x, I have x plus iy. So I'll have to replace x by x plus iy and work out. So this gives us expression for u plus iv now. So therefore, u plus iv will now become minus I into sine of I into x plus iy. So let me explain this once again. See, in place of x, we have x plus iy. Sine hyperbolic x plus iy we want. So in place of x, I have to replace everything by x plus iy in the required expression in terms of the trigonometric. So minus I into sine of this I am retaining as it is. X is replaced by x plus iy because I need to write down an expression for x plus iy term. Correct? Right. Now we have u plus iv is equal to u plus iv is equal to this minus I will retain as it is. We have sine of, we multiply I inside, we get ix minus y. It is minus because we have I into I will be minus I square is nothing but minus 1. That is why there's a minus sign here. So now it is of the form sine of a minus b. So we'll again use the formula for sine of a minus b. We recall the formula first. So we know that sine of a minus b is equal to sine a cos b minus cos a sin b. So using this formula, we need to apply for it and write down. So u plus iv will be now equal to u plus iv will be now equal to minus I as it is sine a cos b minus cos a sin b I have to apply. So sine a is ix, cos b, so cos y minus cos of ix into sin y. Correct, no? So sine of a minus b is equal to sine a cos b minus cos a sin b. Now let us again write down in terms of the hyperbolic function first. So sine of ix, we recall again the formula. Sine of ix is equal to I into sine hx. I into sine hx. Similarly, cos of ix is equal to cos hx directly. So we will first apply that formula and then we will multiply this minus I inside. So u plus iv can be now represented as at minus I as it is for time being. I have to now represent sine ix. Sine ix can be written as I into sine hyperbolic x multiplied by cos y as it is plus I into it is actually minus. We'll just see that once in the previous page. So I have just represented sine ix as I into sine hyperbolic x. So there's a minus sign in the middle. Cos ix can be written as cos hyperbolic x. So there's minus sign minus cos hyperbolic x into cos hyperbolic x multiplied by sine y as it is. Now we will multiply this minus I inside. So what do I get? I into I, we observe as I into I square is minus 1. Minus of this outside minus becomes plus. So this gives us plus sine hyperbolic x into cos y. and there is minus of minus inside the second term. So minus of minus is plus I into cos hyperbolic x into sine y. So minus of minus is plus cos hyperbolic x into sine y. Cos hyperbolic x into sine y. And of course, I should be multiplied for this term. So let us write down I here. I into cos hyperbolic x into sine y. Now we can, at this stage, we are now able to separate the real and imaginary parts. So therefore, separating the real and imaginary parts, u is equal to sine hyperbolic x multiplied by cos y, and v is equal to cos hyperbolic x multiplied by sine y. After separating the real and imaginary parts, we can find out the partial derivatives with respect to x and y to verify the CR equations. So let us write down ux, uy, vx, vy. So let us find out ux with respect to x. Differentiation of sine hyperbolic x is cos hyperbolic x, keeping cos y as it is. Similarly, uy with respect to y, sine hyperbolic x as it is. Differentiation of cos y is minus sine y. So this gives me minus sine hyperbolic x into sine y. Similarly, now we can write down for vx and vy. So vx with respect to x, when we differentiate cos hx, the differentiation is sine hx into sine y, and we want vy with respect to y, when we differentiate partially, it is cos hyperbolic x into cos y. Cos hyperbolic x as it is, differentiation of sine y is cos y. Partial differentiation we have to recall. Now we observe the CR equations are satisfied. Cos hx into cos y, cos hx into cos y for ux is equal to vy, and vx is equal to minus uy. There's a minus sign here. So hence we can conclude that the CR equations are satisfied. So therefore, CR equations, what are CR equations that is mentioned? Ux is equal to Vy and Vx is equal to minus Uy are satisfied. CR equations are satisfied. Hence, given function f of z is analytic. Given function f of z was sine hyperbolic z is analytic. Given function f of z is equal to sine hyperbolic z was the given function. No, it is analytic. So that's the first part of the problem. Now the second part of the problem is to find its derivative. Find the derivative of the analytic function is the question. No, so once it is analytic, we have to find its derivative. So to find f dash of z, to find f dash of z, we consider the expression for f dash of z first. So consider f dash of z given by ux plus I into vx. This is the expression. While doing the derivation, we have arrived at this expression in the Cartesian form. So ux plus I into vx. Now we will substitute both the partial derivatives ux and vx. So ux is nothing but cos hx into cos y. So f dash of z will now become cos hx into cos y plus I into vx is nothing but, let us just check what is vx, sin hx into sin y. Sin hx into sin y. Right. Now we apply Milne-Thomson substitution. Milne-Thomson substitution is always used to obtain the answer in terms of z. Given function is a function of z, no? That is why we use Milne-Thomson substitution. Using Milne-Thomson substitution, put x is equal to z and y is equal to 0. So when we substitute x is equal to z and y is equal to 0, we can obtain f dash of z as a function of z. So which becomes cos hyperbolic z into cos 0 plus I into sine hyperbolic z into sine 0. Again, the standard values, sine 0 is 0. Since sine 0 is 0, Sine 0 is 0, cos 0 is equal to 1. We can obtain the answer for f dash of z as cos hyperbolic z. Cos 0 is 1, so only the real part remains. Imaginary part vanishes as sine 0 is 0. So we obtain the answer f dash of z as cos hyperbolic z. And let us check what was the question. F of z was sine hz. So differentiation of sine hyperbolic z is cos hyperbolic z, and we obtain the correct answer. Fourth one. W is equal to log z. Fourth one, W is equal to log z. So very firstly, we observe that if at all we use Cartesian representation for z, that is x plus iy, we will be obtaining of the form log of x plus iy. So log of x plus iy will become complicated to expand and proceed further in the Cartesian representation. So that is why we go ahead with the polar representation of z. So z in the polar form is r into e power I theta. We have already seen z in the polar representation. Z is nothing but r e power I theta. So let us use the polar representation and make the things simple. So we substitute w as u plus iv, and we have log of r e power I theta. So that it is now of the form log of a into b. So log of a into b can be written as log a plus log b. B is e power I theta. So log of a into b form it was, log a plus log b form we represented. Now the second term when we observe again it is of the form log m power n. So we can represent log m power n as log m power n can be written as n log m. So this is log r plus I theta into log e. And we recall the log e value is equal to 1. So this is log r plus I into theta. I into theta. Log e value is 1. I'll just quote that reason over here. So since log e value is equal to 1. So we are now able to separate the real and imaginary terms. So we can write down u and v from this. So separating the real and imaginary parts, separating the real and imaginary parts, we can get u and v values. So observing u is equal to log r and v is equal to theta. So when we say that we are writing down the real and imaginary parts, we just grab the coefficients of the real and imaginary. So we have u is equal to log r and v is equal to just theta. So if u is equal to log r, let us find out the partial derivatives with respect to r and theta. Now we are differentiating partially with respect to r. So with respect to r, we obtain ur is equal to differentiation of log r is 1 by r. And u theta, there is no theta term at all. So r becomes constant. So differentiation goes to 0. Similarly, vr, there is no r here. Theta is a constant with respect to r in the partial differentiation. So differentiation goes to 0. Similarly, v theta with respect to theta will be 1. Now we will recall CR equations in the Cartesian, in the polar form. So CR equations in polar form is given by CR equations in polar form is given by r into ur is equal to v theta and r vr is equal to minus u theta. So let us check, because we cannot directly see by cross multiplying or just like that. So we are substituting r ur and v theta term. So r into ur gives us r into 1 by r. So this is equal to v theta, which is 1. So r into 1 by r becomes 1. We have 1 is equal to 1. Similarly, r into vr. Vr is 0. U theta is also 0. So we have 0 is equal to 0. So we observe both the CR equations are satisfied. That is RUR is equal to V theta because LHS is equal to RHS. And similarly RVR is equal to minus U theta. So since both the CR equations are satisfied, we can conclude that the given function is analytic. Let us write that conclusion now. So therefore, CR equations are satisfied. In the polar form, we observe that CR equations are satisfied. So this implies f of z is equal to log z. Log z is a given function, is analytic. Is analytic. So once it is analytic, now we can obtain its derivative. Now to find out the derivative in the polar representation, we need to write down the expression in the polar form. So to find f dash of z, to find the derivative f dash of z, we will write down the formula in the polar representation. So we know that f dash of z is equal to ur plus I into vr. This entire thing is actually multiplied by e power minus I theta. This again, while deriving the CR equations in the polar form, we have seen this expression f dash of z is equal to e power minus I theta into ur plus I into vr. So now we will substitute both ur and vr terms. Ur is nothing but 1 by r and vr is 0. So we will substitute that. So f dash of z is equal to f dash of z is nothing but, first I can write down e power minus I theta, right? Ur is nothing but 1 by r plus I into 0. Vr is 0. Now we make use of the Milne-Thomson substitution. So put x is equal to, using Milne-Thomson substitution, put r is equal to z, polar representation. R is equal to z, theta is equal to 0. So substituting r is equal to z and theta is equal to 0, we can obtain f dash of z as a function of z. So f dash of z will be e power 0, theta value is 0 into 1 by z. E power 0 is 0, e power 0 is 1. So 1 into 1 by z gives us 1 by z itself. So we obtained f dash of z as a function of z and the answer is 1 by z. Let us verify whether our answer is correct or not. Given function was log z. So differentiation of log z is nothing but 1 by z. So f dash of z is nothing but 1 by z. So this is how a problem in the polar representation can be obtained. We'll see the next problem now. So we have the given question f is equal, w is equal to f of z, which is nothing but z power n, where n is a positive integer. N is a positive integer. Z power n. So again, observing the question, we can conclude that the polar representation will be easy. Instead of using Cartesian, z is equal to Cartesian representation will be x plus iy. So if we use x plus iy whole power n, then we need to use binomial expansion up to n terms and all, which becomes a little complicated. So we can go ahead with the polar representation itself. So in the polars, we represent z is equal to r e power I theta and proceed. So let us substitute w as u plus iv and z is nothing but r e power I theta whole power n. R e power I theta whole power n form. Now we can observe this is a into b whole power n, so which can be written as a power n into b power n. So this right hand side can be now written as a power n, that is r power n into e power I theta whole power n. E power I theta whole power n is same as writing e power I into n theta. Now we can expand e power I into n theta using in terms of cos and sine. So e power I theta, we know that it is cos theta plus I sine theta. Similarly, e power I into n theta can be written as cos n theta plus I into sine n theta. So now this is multiplying r power n for both the terms. R power n into cos n theta, r power n into cos n theta plus I into r power n into sine n theta. Now we can separate the real and imaginary parts. Separating real and imaginary parts, we can write down u and v. Separating the real and imaginary parts, we get so u will be r power n cos n theta and v will be equal to r power n sin n theta. R power n cos n theta and v is equal to r power n sin n theta. Correct? R power n sin n theta. Once we have separated the real and imaginary parts, we can find out the partial derivatives with respect to r and theta. So partially differentiating with respect to r. Differentiation of r power n is n into r power n minus 1, keeping cos n theta as it is. Similarly, with respect to theta, when we differentiate this, r power n as it is, differentiation of cos n theta is minus n into sin n theta. Similarly, the expression for v is r power n sin n theta. Let us obtain Vr. Differentiation of r power n is n into r power n minus 1 into sin n theta as it is. With respect to theta, when we differentiate r power n as it is, differentiation of sin n theta is n into cos n theta. N into cos n theta. The direct expressions are not equal in CR equations of with respect to polar form. So we need to verify the CR equations in the polar form, which are given by, so CR equations in polar form are given by r ur is equal to v theta and r vr is equal to minus u theta. So let us verify substituting the values. So r into ur is nothing but n r power n minus 1 into cos n theta is equal to v theta, n r power n cos n theta. So are they equal? Let us check, verify that. So this is n into r power n cos n theta is equal to n into r power n cos n theta, because it is r power 1 into r power n minus 1. So when the base are same, powers are added. So we just obtain r power n here. So plus 1 and minus 1 get cancelled in the power. So that is why they are equal. So keeping this, we can now obtain in the same manner for the other one. So r into vr. R into vr. Vr is nothing but n r power n minus 1 into sin n theta. Is it equal to minus u theta? Minus of minus becomes plus n r power n sin n theta. So this gives us, again in the left hand side, base are same, powers are added. R power 1 into r power n minus 1. So gives us r power n only into sin n theta, and that is equal to the right hand side n into r power n into sin n theta. N into r power n into sin n theta. So we observe that they are equal. LHS is equal to RHS. So the CR equations in the polar form, RUR is equal to V theta and RVR is equal to minus U theta. Both are satisfied. Once the CR equations are satisfied, we can conclude given function f of z is analytic. So let us conclude the same thing now. Therefore, CR equations are satisfied. CR equations are satisfied implies f of z is equal to z power n is analytic. The given function was z power n is analytic. Now our next aim is to find f dash of z. Once we have proved given function f of z is analytic, we have to prove, or we have to obtain the derivative f dash of z. So the expression for f dash of z in the polar form is f dash of z is equal to e power minus I theta into ur plus I into vr. E power minus I theta multiplied by ur plus I into vr. So let us substitute both the partial derivatives ur and vr. So f dash of z is equal to e power minus I theta as it is. ur and vr we can substitute. ur is nothing but n r power n minus 1 cos n theta n into r power n minus 1 cos n theta plus I into vr. vr expression is n r power n minus 1 sin n theta. n r power n minus 1 sin n theta. So now we have substituted ur and vr. We can now make use of the Milne-Thomson substitution. So using Milne-Thomson substitution, we substitute r is equal to z and theta is equal to 0. Substituting r is equal to z and theta is equal to 0, f dash of z will be e power 0. Theta is 0, that is why outside we'll have e power 0 n into z power n minus 1 into cos 0 plus I into n into z power n minus 1 into sin 0. Sin 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1. So since cos 0 value is 1, we have 1 into n into z power n minus 1. E power 0 is also equal to 1. So thus we can conclude the expression for f dash of z, which is n into z power n minus 1. Now we will verify whether the answer is correct or not. How we can verify? We have the given question f of z is equal to z power n. So differentiation of z power n is n into z power n minus 1. And thus we have obtained the same answer by checking whether the given function is analytic and then obtaining the derivative according to the procedure. Now we'll see one last problem wherein the given function f of z is not analytic. So we need to show the same thing. So w is equal to z into z bar is not analytic. We recall z bar expression. Z bar is nothing but the conjugate of the complex number z. So how is z bar in the Cartesian form obtained? Z is nothing but x plus iy. Z bar stands for x minus iy. So I is replaced by minus I to obtain the conjugate of the function. So let us do the representation in the Cartesian form and show that the given function is not analytic. So given w is equal to z into z bar. So let us substitute w as u plus iv and z in the Cartesian form is x plus iy multiplied by x minus iy. Z bar is x minus iy. Let us do the product a plus b into a minus b. So this gives us a square minus b square iy the whole square. And we recall I square value is minus 1. So this gives x square plus y square term. Now separating the real and imaginary, we can write down the expression for u and v now. So u is equal to x square plus y square and we observe v is equal to 0. There is no imaginary expression in the right hand side, only the real part exists, that is x square plus y square. There is no I term in the right hand side, that is why imaginary term, that is v is equal to 0. Now to find out the partial derivatives with respect to x and y, let us find the partial derivatives with respect to x and with respect to y. So ux is equal to 2x with respect to x, uy is equal to 2y, and vx and vy both are 0. Since v itself is 0, the partial derivatives also becomes 0. So observe that the CR equations ux is equal to vy and vx is equal to minus uy are not satisfied. They are not satisfied. Hence, we will be able to conclude that the CR equations are not satisfied. Hence, the given function f of z is not analytic. the CR equations, ux is equal to vy and vx is equal to minus uy are not satisfied. They are not equal. Hence, given function f of z is nothing but z into z bar is not analytic. So of course it was a simple problem. Once it is not analytic, we are not going to find the derivative of it. So we just have to prove that given function z into z bar is not analytic. So this is how we do problems on type 1 category. Type 1 category was to find the derivative of the analytic function. Hope you have understood these problems. Thank you for watching.